Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Hello, testing. Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 2 of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Premiership here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, where you join me for game 1, contested between Leeds Chariots PFC and Manchester United PFC. Jack Maxwell with possession on the right hand wing, fires it into Dan Rigby. Liam Fitzpatrick with a chance to break. Go through the teams in just a second. Ricochet that could have very easily gone past Lewis Harris in the Chariots goal. So starting for the Chariots, Lewis Harris, the designated goalkeeper, playing only his second weekend for the Yorkshire-based side, following that transfer from West Bromwich Albion. Already fortified a very impressive partnership with number 21, Dan Rigby, who resides in the centre. Jack Britton currently on the left-hand wing, Jack Maxwell on the right. Maxwell trying to pick out his alternate winger in Jack Britton, just out of play. Britton with an attempt at goal early on. Rigby back to Britton, into the centre. Fitzpatrick tries to clear the danger. Team of Manchester United, they have Jake Hudson in goal. Josh Slack, currently the most defensive of the 4 Manchester United players, Sam Taylor and Liam Fitzpatrick. Live on Court B, Teesside PFC take on Hull and East Yorkshire PFC. For all of those that don't know, we've developed our YouTube channel, and that's a credit to Jack Humphreys and Alex Dowding, that all of our games are housed now on the WFA's YouTube channel, with individual streams for every fixture, making it far easier to track your favourite teams. You can be notified as to when the streams start. Hopefully that supports people's viewing of our National League. As Manchester United just look to assert some of their own pressure. Sam Taylor, no real direction on that pass. Over to Fitzpatrick, who attempts an effort at goal. Lewis Harris called into defensive action early on. And this is good for Manchester United, who are pressuring the defensive duo of Harris and Rigby. Obviously, this is the first weekend back following the 2023 Fit for Power Chair Football World Cup. And I reference that because them two players, Rigby and Harris particularly, will be desperate to get back into Colin Gordon's side. No doubt an impressive run with Leeds Chariots will put them on the radar if they're not already. Paul Yates, our central referee. 3.5 minutes gone. Leeds Chariots 0, Manchester United 0. Very even opening couple of minutes as Dan Rigby has to be careful there. No real direction on that pass, and Hadley and Fitzpatrick be a little bit better set, could have capitalised greatly. Harris, again, no real power or precision on the passing, but that's much better. Splitting pass from Rigby down to Jack Britton on the left-hand side. No doubt looking to pick out Jack Maxwell, another recent transfer for Chariots following the unfortunate folding of Northern Thunder. Rigby just takes control. Sam Taylor trying to capitalise. Met by Lewis Harris. You're already seeing this very brave approach from Chariots, pushing all their players into good attacking positions as Jack Britton attempts an effort. Brilliantly saved by Hudson. The options that duo gives Paul Gorman and Russ Rigby, the Chariots coaches, must excite them greatly. They have Harrison Taylor on the bench, waiting in the wings to break back into the side. Britton just ricochets between the two defensive players of Manchester United. Sam Taylor has to be careful of his positioning there. Harris to Britton, just cleared by Jake Hudson. These Chariots will want a much brighter start to game week 2 than that of game week 1, as Lewis Harris, very advanced, attempts an effort. Follow-up shot from Rigby. It's good attacking pressure from Leeds Chariots. Advantage played by Paul Yates, cleared by Jake Hudson. Fitzpatrick tries to keep it in and guide it towards the Chariots goal. 2-on-1. Strong appeal from Russ Rigby on the right-hand side, which Leeds Chariots come away with. So an indirect free kick will resume play, taken by Lewis Harris. Fitzpatrick tries to guide it to Josh Slack in the centre. Lewis Harris now with a chance to break. Seven minutes gone. Leeds Chariots 0, Manchester United 0. Prior to this game, Leeds Chariots were residing in that 7th spot. Manchester United in 8th, so only a position separates the two. Not even a win for Manchester United could see them surpass Leeds Chariots in the table. Leeds Chariots currently 4 points ahead of their rivals here. Of Leeds Chariots opening 4 games, they won 2, drew 1 and lost 1. But they were very much the talk of the town. Good work from Joshua Slack. Following their promotion to the Premiership, Manchester United started brilliantly in game week 1. 1-0 win over Nottinghamshire PFC before losing their following 3 games against Aspire, Teesside and Villa Rockets. But they will be encouraged by the performances in which they produced. It's only a close 1-0 defeat to Villa Rockets, their final game of the 4 across game week 1. Anyone that knows Premiership football knows how difficult Villa Rockets are to break down. Options on the bench for Manchester United in Lewis Marshall and the Scotsman Kieran Burns. Slack into the back of Lewis Harris's chair. Out of play, couldn't keep it in. Across game week 2 of the PTC Therapeutics Premiership, we're acknowledging and celebrating the Rainbow Laces campaign. Many people across the Lee Westwood Sports Centre proudly adorning rainbow laces. Just that real acknowledgement, showcasing our support for inclusivity and diversity in sport, something that is so close to the values of the Wheelchair Football Association. As Maxwell attempts an effort at goal, Joshua Slack has to just be aware of that effort. Now Fitzpatrick with possession. Dan Rigby, as was Lewis Harris, standouts in game week 1. Lewis Harris, one of the players comprising the team of the weekend. Britain into Slack. Neither side really able to impose their quality in the opening 10 minutes. Typically always the case with these opening games of the weekend. People travelling from far and wide to attend our Premiership weekend here in Nottingham, situated in the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. For all those that don't know, that's within the Nottingham Trent University Clifton campus, where all 10 weekends of our National League football across our Premiership and Championship are played, as well as that playoff weekend. Hudson trapped by number 12, Lewis Harris. Maxwell into Harris, back to Maxwell on the right. It's good football, and Maxwell just millimetres away from connecting with that return ball. Much better from Leeds Chariots, who are looking to take a goal advantage in this game. Ball ricochets high in between the chairs of Liam Fitzpatrick and Dan Rigby. Next up on Court A, we have Villa Rockets versus Nomad Knights. West Bromwich Albion Throttles take on Seven Oaks on Court B. Currently, Teesside 3, Hull and East Yorkshire 0 on Court B. For anyone wanting to watch that, that can also be found on the WFA's YouTube channel as its own individual link. Rigby Rotated spin kick down to Maxwell. Can't quite keep it in, but starting to use the width to their advantage. Harris into Rigby. Slack just clears initially. Once again, direction and accuracy not quite there for Dan Rigby. The intention and idea most certainly there. Joshua Slack just into the side of Sam Taylor's chair, tries to guide it towards Liam Fitzpatrick. Should Liam Fitzpatrick score 3 goals across game week 2, he will join the coveted Century Club, netting 100 goals in our National League competition. So I very much hope he's able to do that across the weekend. A incredibly impressive feat that we want to shout about. Worth noting also, should Aspire captain John Boulding score 3 across game week 1, he'll be the first player in history to score 400 National League goals. Absolutely incredible should he be able to do that. 397 National League goals in his career. Great play. Sam Taylor switches it, looking for Liam Fitzpatrick, goes to Jack Britton just behind, and then a potential attack for Leeds Chariots as Maxwell switches it to the right. Jack Britton, the intended recipient, but Slack does brilliantly to prevent that outlet. I have to give Manchester United's defence full credit in the opening 15 or so minutes. Haven't been troubled too much as Fitzpatrick returns it to the Leeds Chariots half. Dan Rigby comfortable to let that roll out of play to be a kick in on that left hand side. Maxwell back to Harris, which just invites a little bit of pressure from Liam Fitzpatrick. Harris bypasses Slack, met by Sam Taylor. Starting to get a little bit congested. Fitzpatrick has to vacate the space to allow Taylor to operate. For all of those that don't know, at the conclusion of today's action here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre, we will be conducting the first and second round draw of the now John Good Group WFA Cup. We're delighted to announce that we have acquired a very valued sponsor for our National Cup competition. More information about that later. But yeah, the first and second round draws will be conducted, which of course within Power Chair Football are regionally split, northern and southern divisions almost, just to aid that logistical planning for our 2017. It's a record-breaking year, or record-matching year certainly, in our cup competition. As Rigby attempts an effort, just wide of that right-hand post. Hudson had to be very much aware, just reversed backwards to prevent it going inside that post. Indirect, so had to come via the chair of another player. Fortunately, just out for a corner kick on this occasion. 3 minutes left to be played. Leeds Chariots nil, Manchester United nil, as Maxwell can't quite angle his chair enough to make strong contact with that ball. Also is one of 2 players that have been awarded a 2-on-1 against. Slack. unfortunate there for Liam Fitzpatrick, who had the intention to just control it with the right-hand side of his chair, as Maxwell has an attempt at goal. Good work from Slack. Sam Taylor trying to switch it, and Liam Fitzpatrick no doubt wanted to get that bumper, that pick-off bumper, to bypass Rigby, but wasn't able to. Been impressed with Sam Taylor in the opening half, breaking up the play effectively, trying to pick out his teammates. Good positioning from Lewis Harris, who's just preventing that option, that final pass from Manchester United. Harris down to Maxwell. Good pass, Britton over to Maxwell, who's going to try and guide it goal bound, and does just that. Well worked team goal. Really unfortunate for Manchester United, who have been brilliant so far, certainly defensively. But a Jack Maxwell goal in the final minutes of the first half sees Leeds Chariots lead by 1-0. Testament to how important accuracy is, and then final passes and splitting the defence open. A very well drilled defensive unit, Manchester United. They'll be disappointed. They've certainly been competitive across this first half. The looks of it, Teesside racking up the goals against Hull and East Yorkshire. If the scoreboard is correct, they currently lead by 7-0. Fitzpatrick in the final 30 seconds is desperately looking for that equaliser. Britton distributes down to Maxwell, who, if he can connect, will no doubt force an effort at goal. The accuracy on the pass from Jack Britton not necessarily there, but the intent most definitely in play. Had the regulation 20 now, so into any time that our referee Paul Yates has accrued across this first half. Josh Slack in that bottom left-hand corner. Hudson desperately trying to bypass Dan Rigby. That is half-time. Leeds Chariots 1, Manchester United 0. Just a single Jack Maxwell goal on 19 minutes. The difference between the two teams. Very competitive, very closely matched across the 20 minutes. Manchester United will no doubt want to get straight back into things at the start of the second. But thank you to all that are joining me for this opening game of game week 2. I'll be back shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to this soon-to-be second half in the opening game of game week 2 of the 23-24 PTC Therapeutics Premiership, contested between Leeds Chariots and Manchester United, currently separated by a single goal for Leeds Chariots, which was scored by Jack Maxwell. Live on Court B currently, Teesside PFC lead Hull and East Yorkshire by 8-0. Huge opening game for Teesside, who are looking to assert their dominance on the table. Hull and East Yorkshire without Cole Simpson, such a key player due to suspension. He'll no doubt be itching to get back into that team to help them. Currently really struggling yet to pick up points in the league, so he will no doubt be key if they're able to do that. A win for Leeds Chariots here would see them go all the way up to 5th in the table, I believe, so be a huge 3 points as Dan Rigby gets us underway here for the second half. We'll go through the team lineups in just a second as Lewis Harris just exchanges a few short passes before that brilliant crossfield ball to Harrison Taylor, the recent substitute, and Jack Maxwell within the first 15 seconds put away on the left hand side as you're viewing it to double Leeds' advantage. Absolutely brilliant. Just started with them short passes between Rigby and Harris before a splitting diagonal ball from the Leeds Chariots goalkeeper down to Taylor, whose first involvement in this game is a very positive one, to pick out his alternate winger in Jack Maxwell. So as it lies, they scored 2 goals within the last 3 minutes of open play. So great stuff from Leeds Chariots. They'll be Paul Gorman and Russ Rigby will be very pleased with how this second half has opened. Manchester United almost deflated after that late goal in the first half. So the teams are as follows. Lewis Harris, the designated goalkeeper for Leeds Chariots, but as we know, he's very adventurous and advanced for a goalkeeper. Dan Rigby just in front, the wingers of Harrison Taylor, and the goal scorer for both Chariots goals, Jack Maxwell. On the left as you're viewing it, no, Harrison Taylor trying to get that pick off back to Maxwell, who'll be looking for his hat-trick. Pace has picked up slightly from that of the first half. To go through the Manchester United team, they have number 17, Jake Hudson in goal, Josh Slack, that central player. Lewis Marshall, who's just come on in place of Sam Taylor, is now on the left-hand side. Liam Fitzpatrick on the right. Rigby. Responsibility of this kick-in. Harrison Taylor in this bottom right-hand corner, just off the front of Liam Fitzpatrick's chair, out for a corner ball. Maxwell comes over to take down Rigby, the most obvious option, closely marked by Liam Fitzpatrick. Sends it goal bound. Jake Hudson with a desperate interception and clearance on the Manchester United goal line. But Leeds Chariots applying the pressure. Fitzpatrick on the right hand side can't quite keep it in play, kind of caught in two minds as to whether to distribute that over to Lewis Marshall, attempt an effort himself. That win for Teesside, should they score one more goal, would see them go level on points and goal difference with current league leaders West Bromwich Albion PFC, who are yet to play. Lewis Marshall yet to have any real involvement in this game. Back to Slack. Harrison Taylor there to prevent that attacking outlet. Maxwell very advanced, just looking to capitalise on any potential break. When they've got that quality at the back in Rigby and Harris, you know that the play can switch in a second should one of them be able to distribute it up the court. We're seeing it potentially now as Harrison Taylor wants another player caught in two minds as to whether engage that or try and dribble up the court. 4.5 minutes gone. Leeds Chariots 2, Manchester United 0. Good work from Lewis Harris. Maxwell has to back off. Switch to the other wing. Rigby. Well played by Josh Slack to just get the better in that initial altercation and dribbles it past Dan Rigby absolutely brilliantly. Fantastic from Manchester United, who half the deficit. Really almost complacent from Dan Rigby, who invited the pressure from Josh Slack. Don't think he anticipated he would be so persistent in that pursuit of a goal. But 25 or so minutes in, Josh Slack gets that goal Manchester United have been looking for. The first real attacking presence in this second half. They'll want to build on that now in search for that equaliser. Good work once again by Josh Slack. A very good advantage by Paul Yates. They're really buoyed by that persistence and that aggression from Josh Slack. Not just within that goal, but that phase of play we've just seen. Doesn't look overawed by the ex-England international Dan Rigby, the captain for Manchester United, leading by example as Harrison Taylor guides it over to Jack Maxwell. Didn't quite have the accuracy to pick him out first time, and Josh Slack clears the danger to Lewis Marshall. Manchester United really capitalising on a little bit of confusion within the Leeds Chariots side at the moment. I think a lot of people always suspected that relationship would take a few games and weekends to cultivate between Harris and Rigby. Slack. Down the left-hand wing. Out for a Manchester United ball. Slack. Down to Fitzpatrick. Just bypassed the Manchester United captain. A chance to break now. Fitzpatrick trying to create an obstacle. Hudson. Been fairly uninvolved in this second half. Only that early goal. Really, really impressed with Manchester United in this second. They still trail by a single goal. If they carry on the way they're currently playing, they'll no doubt be in for a shout of finding that equaliser. Hudson trying to get past Harrison Taylor. Ball still in play. Good work from Hudson. Marshall has to be careful of them pick-offs. Dan Rigby waiting to try and capitalise on that condensed half. Leads to a 2-on-1 infringement. So an indirect free kick will be taken by Dan Rigby. Harrison Taylor, well marked by Lewis Marshall on the left-hand side. Goes to Jack Maxwell, seeking his hat-trick. Cleared by the Manchester United defence. Hudson keeps it in play. Dan Rigby dispossesses. Crucial touch off the back of Hudson's chair. As Harris struggles to find a teammate. Does so eventually, down to Maxwell. Fitzpatrick breaking up the play brilliantly. 10 minutes to go. Leeds Chariots 2, Manchester United 1 in a brilliant opening game of game week 2. Maxwell can't quite make connection as the ball from court B rolls on to court A. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on our stream, but all of our officials are adorning rainbow laces for Stonewall's Rainbow Laces campaign, the 10-year anniversary. Maxwell to Harris to Rigby. Ricochets out of play on the right hand side. Manchester United ball. We're going to get a substitution. From the looks of it, it will be Kieran Burns for Manchester United. He'll be coming on. I suspect it'll be Lewis Marshall, the player coming off, and that is exactly the choice of Pete Taylor and Mark Hudson, Manchester United coaches. So no doubt Scotsman will want to make an impact. He has just under 9 minutes to try and help his side find an equaliser. As Fitzpatrick goes over to Kieran Burns for his first involvement. Harrison Taylor guides it goal bound. Hudson has to clear. Taylor rotates, pick off from Fitzpatrick, gets an applause from the Manchester United coaches. Rigby cleared by Hudson. Following this game, Leeds Chariots will take on Newcastle United Foundation at 3:20. They've got a long wait for their second fixture of game week 2. That will be a really intriguing fixture. As has been said many times, all of our games are individually scheduled now across the WFA's YouTube. As Dan Rigby fires an effort inside the post. Absolutely brilliant. Making amends for that mistake earlier on, which led to the single Manchester United goal. And fantastic from Dan Rigby, who finds Leeds' third goal 33 minutes in. As I was saying, Leeds Chariots, who are very likely to take 3 points for this game, will want to take that momentum into that Newcastle United Foundation fixture at 3:20 tomorrow. They have tough games against Villa Rockets and West Bromwich Albion Throstles. It's not out the realm of possibility that they're able to acquire maximum points from game week 2, which will help their aspirations of finishing in the highest possible position. Manchester United follow this game against Teesside, who are currently leading Hull and East Yorkshire by 14 goals to nil, as Fitzpatrick ricochets, hit the ball off that right hand post. 14-0 score line. Teesside with England international Ed Common as one of their squad players now. Incredible what a world-class player can add to an already incredible team. Team that finished third in the league last season. So Manchester United will very much be tested in their second game in game week 2. They've got a 3-game weekend. They play Hull and East Yorkshire, fellow promoted side. And considering the scoreline currently on Court B, Manchester United will no doubt have aspirations of securing 3 points from that one. Tomorrow they play Nomad Knights and Sevenoaks, as Kieran Burns can't quite make connection. No doubt would have been a very credible effort if he was able to do so. The goal of Leeds Chariots was fairly vacated by Dan Rigby. 5 minutes left to go in this game. Leeds Chariots 3, Manchester United 1. I wouldn't say that scoreline is truly reflective of how this game is played out. Been incredibly impressed by Manchester United, most particularly with the player in possession now, Josh Slack, who's really troubled Rigby and Harris particularly across the game. Harris across the box. Fitzpatrick cleans up. A brilliant distribution from Dan Rigby to pick out Harrison Taylor on the left-hand wing. Possession still live as it just trickles out of play. Rigby can generate so much power and accuracy on them passes as they just look to shake off the cobwebs. Been a long time since game week 1. And as it was mentioned in the first half, this is the first action since the 2023 Fit for Power Chair Football World Cup. Even longer wait for game week 3, which I believe is at the start of March. So they'll have to really, all 12 teams in our Premiership division will be wanting to end game week 2 on a high, as we typically observe a break in provision and play across the winter months. Substitution for Leeds Chariots as Jack Maxwell comes off. Not going to get his hat-trick in this game, unfortunately. Jack Britton, the player replacing him. Three minutes to go. Harris with his indirect free kick. Rigby just to his left, you're right as you're viewing it. Fitzpatrick out of play. Rigby down to Britton for his first action since his reintroduction to this game. Flick back to Rigby, tries to switch it down to Harrison Taylor. Kieran Burns can't quite keep it in play. Taylor to Rigby, great pass to Jack Britton on the left. Didn't quite get the connection he would have wanted to keep that attack live. Final couple of minutes. Very intriguing game between these two. Jack Maxwell opening the scoring in the 19th minute, very late in that first half. But they came out, the blocks flying in the second, scoring a goal in the first 15 seconds to double their lead. It looked like they were cruising to 3 points from there on, but persistent work from Manchester United captain Joshua Slack. Managed to halve the deficit in the 25th minute. And they were desperately searching for that equaliser and had chances to do so. Not before a moment of magic from Dan Rigby in the 33rd minute to ricochet the ball off the left-hand post to score Leeds Chariots third. So Leeds Chariots will take 3 points from this game. They will surpass a number of teams in the league table. This win alone will see them go above Throstles, Newcastle United, Slack. Kieran Burns just out of play on the left-hand side for a goal kick. It's all over on Court B. An emphatic 16-0 win for Teesside against Hull and East Yorkshire. Huge commiserations for them. They'll want to regroup. I'm not sure when Cole Simpson is allowed to feature again following that suspension in game week 1. But hopefully he can be back as soon as possible to ensure they're as competitive as they can be across game week 2. They'll want to regroup. They'll want to forget about that result. Teesside possess so much quality and are in some eyes considered as being title contenders with that recent acquisition of Ed Common. Harris into Rigby, very open now as Rigby attempts an effort at goal. Just over to Jack Britton on the left-hand side, but that's going to be the last action of this opening game. It ends Leeds Chariots 3, Manchester United 1. As mentioned a few seconds ago, Jack Maxwell with 2, Dan Rigby with the third, Joshua Slack with the consolation goal for Manchester United. Both teams, however, will take huge positives from that game. Manchester United were persistent, they were aggressive, and they will be disappointed they weren't able to find a way back into that game when it was finally balanced at 2-1. Leeds Chariots starting the weekend as they wish to go on with 3 points. Thank you to all that have joined me for this opening game. Next up on Court A, we have a great game which will be contested very heavily between Villa Rockets and Nomad Knights. Certainly geographically, probably the closest, some of the closest teams within the division on Court B. West Bromwich Albion Throstles take on Seven Oaks. Thank you all.